So, all right. So, hello everyone, and welcome to public webinars by Frappe. And my name is Babita, and I'm the marketing executive at Frappe, and I look after public webinars and uh, all marketing stuff at Frappe. So, I believe a lot of you must have been seeing me for the very first time. So, since I take care of public webinars, if you have any suggestions or queries or requirement around public webinars and you want to see a specific module coming up in the next webinar in the next month, you can definitely drop me a mail at babita@frappe.io. I'll drop in my mail in the chat box. So, coming to our session today, we have Justyna from Open Source Rebellions by K&K Softwares. And she has been an implementation expert and a core member of Open Source Rebellions, and she brings on hands-on experience with helping businesses to simplify and scale their manufacturing processes and many different processes with the help of ERPNext. And today she's going to take us through a very core module of ERPNext, that is manufacturing, and how it will help businesses who work day in and day out with manufacturing, and how ERPNext is going to make things easier for you to handle in manufacturing. So over to you, Justyna. Let the audience know who you are and what we are going to cover this in this webinar. Over to you.
Hi. So first of all, thank you, Babita. I would just start sharing my screen for now. So here we are. So first of all, this is the introduction page to the webinar. My name is Justyna, and I have the pleasure to do an introduction to manufacturing in ERPNext with you. So first of all, who am I? I'm a member of Open Source Rebels at K&K Software. And K&K Software is a silver partner in Germany. We have a little bit of history with Frappe and ERPNext, and that also includes the fact that we use ERPNext in our company to do sales, to manage projects. And this has been our start, implementing ERPNext within our own company. And since then, we have been also helping our customers implement ERPNext. And we have a lot of customers in manufacturing. This is also why I like and prefer to give a webinar on exactly this topic. It's very close to my heart. And yes, we have had some challenges that we successfully solved with ERPNext. So let's get to it. First of all, a small overview of what we are going to see today. We will be creating a bill of materials. We will be explaining some of the calculation behind a bill of materials. Then we will create a work order. And finally, we will set an example of using a production plan. When we finish the work order, we will also go through material consumption and material booking. So, before I start, I also would like to have a quick note on questions. After each of those points, whether it's creating a bill of materials, calculation, creating a work order, production plan, whatever, feel free to either post your question in chat or ask directly. Is it fine?
Yes.
Great. Okay, great. So, first of all, bill of materials. What is a bill of materials? Usually we have an item. Whatever we are producing, may it be a shelf, may it be a bike, may it be anything else. We will have a bill of materials connected to set items. We can have multiple bills of materials for one item. Sometimes we would, for example, like to change something up. Sometimes we don't necessarily need one item or the other for the assembly of our product. So we can use alternatives. And depending on those alternatives, we can have different configurations. So one item can have multiple bill of materials. And what does a bill of materials consist of? So first of all, we have raw materials. If you need steel, you can use steel and connect it to the bill of materials. Then we have operations. Operations is whatever you are actually doing. So let's say we have to inspect something that has been produced. We can add this as a point in our operations. Also, an assembly can be a point of operations. Anything that is a step in our process of manufacturing can be linked to operations. Of course, those operations do have something like a template. For example, if we have a bike, the operations to assembly a bike will be mostly the same. And for this, we can use a routing. Then again, operations have to be, well, the assembly has to take place somewhere. And for this, we have the workstations. So all those points are part of the bill of materials. And the bill of materials enables us to create a work order. So let's get to the system. For today, I have prepared an item. And that is our mountain bike. Our mountain bike has, first of all, the option to maintain stock. We cannot sell it without having any of it in our inventory. When we go to dashboard, we can see at stock levels that we do not have any mountain bikes, but we already have a forecast of us needing 3 of them. At the current point, we do not have a bill of materials, but we would like to add one. So first of all, what is to know about the bill of materials? So let's say if your assembly has changed, you can deactivate a bill of materials. And also there is a default button. This default button makes sure that when we create a new order, that this BOM is being used for it. Also, what all will play a role, we have also a cost configuration. But now let's get to raw materials. For our bike, we will first of all have a seat assembly that we will be using. We will also be having a frame assembly. And then we will also add brakes. We can save, like, for example, with sales order, or many other doc types, we can just save it for now. But once the bill of materials is submitted, we are not able to change the bill of materials anymore. So let's get to it. Let's add operations. For this, I have already assembled a routing. It's parts assembly, and it always does basically the same. We have an operation, a workstation type, and an operation time. This is so far okay. Then we can save and we can submit. Now, as we see here at item codes as it is right now, we do have a notification whether set material even is here. But let's get back to our presentation for now. What is very important is calculating production cost. So first of all, we have like setting initial value, workstation cost, and calculation based on purchases. So as you see here, you can also do a new version of the BOM. At cost configuration, we can set what the rate of materials will be based on. At some points, we might actually want the valuation rate. So what is the stock that we are handling even worth? Or maybe instead we would like to use the last purchase rate. We can also just use a price list or manual. Anyway, at this case, I would stick to the valuation rate. Operations. Operations also have an operating cost. And when we look at the workstation type, we can also see the origin of the operating cost. We have a workstation type here, and in this case, I have placed an electricity cost and the cost of the wage linked to the bike assembly station. So depending on what the operation type is for our operation, we can let the system calculate the operating cost on its own. Also, if we are not satisfied with this, we can also just set an hourly rate or, well, in this case, with this operating cost manually for each position. What's also important to know is the checkbox for fixed time. Sometimes when we produce multiple items, we might have things like a resting time. Even if we need more time to, for example, color our bikes, the time the bikes will need to dry with the paint on will be the same. So we could add a fixed time in here. Okay. So much for now. This is a little bit on the calculating production cost. I have not shown you setting initial stock value, so I will do that now. If we have a new item, we can have an opening stock. Let's say we found, we have a new item in the inventory and it has been there for quite some time. Sometimes, especially when setting a new system, this will be the case. Your customers will already have an opening stock of, let's say, 1,000. And in some Excel sheet, they will also know what this opening stock has cost them. And you can use that. In the dashboard, we will already see where the store will be, where the stock will be handled. So we have just created an item, and already by item creation, we have also established some stock with a value. Okay. Then let's get back to the presentation for a moment. Okay, calculation based on purchases. Let's get back to it and look at our bill of materials. So in this case, we might need, for example, when we go here to this item code, do we have any on stock? We don't have any on stock. Let's say instead of assembling it, we want to buy it, because we can do both. We can assemble this item ourselves. We can also just buy it. We will place a purchase order now with any supplier and say we require it today. The quantity will be 110. We have gotten our the price sent to us. Let's say it's 150. We will save. Okay. Submit. Now let's create a purchase receipt. Submit this as well. We'll also create a purchase invoice. All the data that we have used in creating the purchase order has been transferred to any next step we have made. Now, let's get back to the bill of materials. First of all, as we can see here in the dashboard, we have acquired 110 items. If we now go to the stock and use one of the stock reports, we would also be able to see what the cost for it is. But let's not get to it. It's not the topic. Let's just update cost in here. Now we have seen the average cost, since we only made one purchase, has been 150 per item. And this has been directly translated into the cost of our bill of materials in here. Okay. And lastly, we can also see the overview of the cost for our bill of materials on the costing side in the doc type. Okay. For now, we have been through calculating production costs. I want to ask you for a moment whether you have any questions. Okay, I have seen some questions now. Why does it give the error not invoiced? Stock receipt, but not billed. Let's get in here. Mm. This is what you cannot create a purchase invoice. Okay. In my case, I have been creating a purchase invoice out of the purchase receipt. Maybe you could try it this way. Okay, in the BOM, when updating the cost, the system fetches the latest rate. Could you confirm from where the rate is being sourced? I can only confirm it by using the stock reports at this moment. Otherwise, this would be a thing you could get into from the backend. See? Whether it fetches from purchase receipt or purchase invoice. I would say in this case, we have the purchase receipt first. So my guess is that it gets it from the purchase receipt. Will the stock valuation in the BOM automatically update over time as new raw materials are received into stock? As far as I know, there is a possibility to automatically update your bill of materials, yes. Mm. Okay. Great. Then in this case, I will move on with the presentation if it's fine. So my next point would be creating a work order. So creating a work order can be done for our internal needs as well as created against a sales order. In this case, I would like to create a work order towards a sales order. We will see our list of orders. Oh, maybe let's just do a new one. To deliver it this Saturday. And we'll use all warehouses. We'll submit. Now, from the sales order itself, we can create a work order. Okay. Seemingly, I was not able to create one. Ah, yes, sorry. We have to check the checkbox here. No. This is the work order as we have it. And in this case, the seat has been parted up in different sub materials because we have a sub assembly in this case. This is how we create a work order for now. A work order can have a connection to a project and For now, we will just let it be this way. Have to pick the warehouses for it. Save, but we will not submit yet. Now, let's get to our bill of materials again. And let's check for our inventory. So for the seat assembly, we have some in the finished goods. In our frame assembled, we also have some stock in finished goods, but we do not have any brake system assembly. Why is it? Because I wanted to also add a bill of materials to this. So first of all, what do all those item codes stand for? Those are just parts of a brake assembly, and left and right represent each side. Now, since for one brake system, we have to have both sides. In operations, we can also say that when we use the routing, we might need this twice. Or we can just say, okay, we will have assembly. And examination. Twice in it. This will be helpful for creating job cards afterwards, because those might be steps we want to take after each other. So let's save. And with this, we can also submit. Okay, now let's get back to our work order that we have created. So for reference, we have those required items. Let's update. Oh. Sorry, I think that I have missed something. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to open my work order.
Maybe try
Okay.
refreshing.
Sorry?
Maybe try refreshing the page.
Yes, I did by reloading. I just assume that this might be a problem because we have changed the sub-assembly bill of materials. After already creating a work order, this probably leads to the set problem. Let's just create, hit on the BT11. What do you mean with hit on the BT11 in the bill of materials? Let's see whether it's even. Yes, you're right. This is the exactly right one. I have no idea why I was not able to open it that way. Okay. Thank you for your assistance. Okay. Well, let's submit this work order for now. Okay, and now we need source warehouses before we save any of this. Thank you. Okay. So let's start. As we see now, we already have a list for items for the stock entry. We can save that. We have to pick the source warehouses. In this case, we will use. Let's look because I think some of them might be in frame assembly will be in stores. Valuation rate for the item. PSA break system is required to do accounting entries for stock entry. Now, the issue we are running now in is, as I have mentioned, due to the sub-assembly. We have neither started anything with the sub-assembly for the brake system. So since this has not been managed properly, we are having some trouble here. It is enabled. So what do we want to do? We have the BOM. The BOM has already been saved, but we have no rates of any kind here. What can we do? We can browse the bill of materials and open the items and see whether we have stock in here or not. But also we can create a material request for set stock. So we can purchase all of those can also say that we only get into the brake system itself, go into the BOM, and create a work order for it. Now, when we have a work order for said subassembly, you can save it. Submit. We don't have the stock needed. Mm-hmm. You can create the material request for said subassembly as well. Yes. Yeah, yes, I know. In this case, I actually wanted to disable the zero valuation so we exactly run into those problems. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to explain this. Let's add some prices. Usually also we can just use a price list for this. Let's save it, submit. We can then create a purchase receipt. Save this as well, since we have chosen all warehouses beforehand. Now it's also gets put into the all warehouses category. Oh, okay. Yes. And with this, we have also have material request linked. Okay, let's get back to it with our work order. So first of all, we had this sub-assembly. Let's create a pick list. We have all of those. Okay. Okay. It was not this one. Was completed, yes. This was completed and I wanted to have this one, exactly. Now, we have created a work order. What we need to see in this case is the connections. We have in the bill of materials stated that we have 4 operations. For each operation, there has been a job card created. Now, if we try to finish, we are not able to do so because we have job cards that we have to use to close our work order. Let's get to the job cards. So first of all, we have each step that has to be created one after another. First of all, we wanted to assembly. So we assembly the left side of our brake. We can start the job. We can complete the job. Okay. Yes. Submit. No. Sequence. Okay. Complete the operation assembly before operation assembly. Good. I have gotten this a little bit messed up because I have reused the same operation. We cannot because we have to complete the job first. We submit. And we have the first completed task. Now we can examine this. Submit. To overlap the job cards, yes. Also, if we were very much in a hurry, we could also set the status, as far as I know, for multiple operations in the job card list. Also, one nice feature in ERPNext is the Kanban view. In our case, we have a lot of customers who want to have a very good look in their production and want to see what is being done when. And for them, we usually suggest the Kanban view. Same would also be working for the work order. There's also a Kanban view for this, and the projects. If you have a project with certain tasks, you can also use Kanban for that. Time to time. Okay, we have. Mm, mm. Okay, we have some overlap in the scheduling that we have. I would just force complete it at this point. Yes. The non-overlap in this case leads to this issue. So we have completed our job cards. And with this, I can switch to the work order again. And now we can also in connections see whether the completed operations have been completed and how many items have been produced. We can finish and save. As you see, we have materials that have been taken out of our warehouse, and we have one thing that has been booked back in. Now we cement our entry and getting back to our work orders. When we start, and pick finished goods. Oh, okay, in this case. We have the sub-assembly we need now with the brake system. The basic rate has been updated for it due to our previous BOM and work order. We can submit this. And now I would actually like to move on with the presentation because we have created a work order, the job cards, and we have been handling materials, and move on to the production plan because we might run out of time soon. So production plan. So first of all, what exactly is a production plan? A production plan helps with setting a time frame and material requests for a given period of time. Let's say we want to get our items from sales order. We can also have fetch material requests that we have placed, but in this case, we will use sales order. And we can also put filters, but we won't do that for now. And we can, for now, save. Okay, now we already have some warnings about that. Yes, sorry, Salsa Bill. What's your question? Okay. So first of all, we only want to have a production plan for this month alone. We'll delete all of those and get sales orders. Okay, sales orders are not available for production. Weirdly, it has been working beforehand. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you have open sales order in the period of time, you can fetch the data. Yes, I assumed that I can. I'm not sure where I can do that. Get items from sales order, I would say. To deliver and bill from date to date. You can use sales order to get as well. I would say usually we went on and just got the sales order. I'm not sure why it doesn't work right now. Let's just delete that. Okay. Weirdly, the moment I give in the date, I'm not able to use the button anymore. And well, in this case, let's move on before we run out of time. We have to select items for manufacture, and that's where the consolidation comes in. Now, the moment we consolidate, for example, the goods for manufacture, they lose their connection to the actual order. If we, for example, have one production order and one material request for something, then we are not able to have multiple connections to either of the other doc types. So that's important to know, but we can consolidate. Oh, okay. Oh, we are missing some default BOMs, so he's not letting us do that. You can just delete that. Okay. Also, Dienstleistung B he also doesn't do. So that would be creating a production order. We can also get sub-assembly items for this, since we only have it in draft and did not submit it yet. Let's try that. And we can get sub-assembly items. In this case, for example, we had this seat assembly when we look at it. That's also a bill of materials that is being used in this case. So our bill of materials has another bill of materials, and in production plan, when we want to add the sub-assembly items, we can do this as well. So let's submit it for now. And from here, we can create all the work orders and anything that needs to be subcontracted in this case. So we are almost through with the presentation. I also wanted to say something about material consumption for one of our customers.
You can definitely extend the webinar for like 5-10 minutes. It's not a problem, Justyna.
Okay, we will. Okay, I see. Thank you. So let's now, but going back to it, this, for example, is my test bill of materials. In this case, we are just creating one item with steel in it, and we are using 1 unit of a quantity. What I have done is I have added a scrap item to it, because one of our customers has a following machine. It is used for operations on steel, and also there is basically some material that is not exactly being lost. It's just while we work on the material, a little bit of it falls off to the side, and it can be gathered and reused in some way. So in this case, we can also add it as scrap items, because when we then book in a work order with said scrap item, it also gets booked into the inventory. Same has also been used by another customer of us who, when they produce one item, their machine also has another case where you can also fill in material. So when producing item A, also produce item B always. So of course we might need for a sales order only item A, but we always produce item B with it to spare the cost. And of course, this gets booked into the inventory as well. Yes. So that's kind of about my presentation, but I actually would like to get into the questions. So one of this overview of what was the whole session about and how this is manufacturing cycle or the manufacturing flow works from one dock type to other. To this question, I would generally say we have a very good overview due to the connections from the work order itself. When we take our work order and look into the connections, the work order has influence on stock entries, because it takes stock out, as also it books items into the stock again. Then again, for the work order, we do create the job cards, which are the operations that use workplaces. We do have a pick list that we can use for our inventory. We have not covered that, but we can also add batch and serial numbers. And of course, the work order itself, when we have material requests to it, is also linked to purchase orders and further manufacturing work orders. So in a way, it's all interconnected with each other, and wherever it makes a logical sense to have a connection from one to another, we can find it in ERPNext, or at least as far as I have been going on a journey with it.
Yeah, thanks, Justyna.
Okay,
I
great.
understand, like, explaining concepts live sometimes gets challenging, right? And it's good to actually stumble across some errors that the system throws at you, because many a times the users of ERPNext also goes through such problems. So thanks for showing along how to solve it, and thanks to one of our attendees, Ranjit, for some suggestions. I believe, like, definitely a lot of industries who uses ERPNext for manufacturing their items and production plans must have benefited or at least got some insights through the session. So actually we are now open to your Q&A session. So in case you have any manufacturing related queries, Justyna would like to solve them up. I can see one question in Q&A where Lucas has mentioned, can you show the Gantt chart also?
Yes, I can, first of all, but I would also like to just add that if you have any questions, our account executive, Enrico, is also available for any kind of contact, and I will link in his email into chat. So, showing the Gantt. So this is not very exciting to show it in the case of work orders because we don't have very much for now, but let's see with job cards. Okay. But yes, the Gantt view is what we also can use as an alternative in ERPNext. Though, again, I'm a big fan of using the Kanban or some users, especially those who manage production, also at some instances use the calendar for it.
Wonderful. Do we have any more questions? People can raise their hands or please feel free to unmute or drop in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Justyna has also mentioned her email address in case anyone wants to reach out to her or K&K Software, as they are one of our silver partners now, can do so. And with that, Justyna, I would request everyone to actually fill out this feedback form. It would help us know in case of any suggestions or comments you have regarding public webinars and for this particular webinar on manufacturing by Justyna and K&K Softwares. Assuming we don't see any more questions coming in, we would now move towards wrapping up the session. And thank you, Justyna, for your valuable time. I believe people must have definitely benefited from this session. And any few last words you have?
Thank you all for your attention. It has been a pleasure. I am myself rather new in some cases when it comes to ERPNext, and we at K&K Software are doing our best to move forward and learn as part of the Frappe community.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Justyna. So see you everyone in the next session. Please keep watching frappe.io/events for upcoming webinars. And the recording will be available after 30 minutes in the same link. And it will also be up on our YouTube channel. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.